Hello and welcome. Today I wanted to help teach everyone a little lesson that I learned this last KVK that I hope will help you avoid doing what I did. So first things first, our last KVK was another victory, but it was 140 versus 64, which was a lot of fun. They were a really fun alliance. They're very active, or very fun kingdom, very active, had a lot of different alliances. They had a lot of people farming, they had a lot of people attacking, and they really made it interesting for us. I think that unfortunately for them, they don't quite have any accounts that are as strong as Diver's account, and that's just really gonna make the KVK a little bit tough for them and unbalanced because they don't have anyone that can compete with him. But they really had a lot of other strong accounts, and as you will see shortly, did not go well for me. So what I'm going to do here really quickly is I just want to scroll down and show you a couple of these battle reports. So for context, what happened, yeah, you can see a lot of losses there. So what essentially happened was I I wanted to get as many points as possible. I really was hoping that I could get into the top like 10 or so I could get a couple of extra SS medals, or extra specifically unsullied medals. And I was very confident in myself that I could just hold all the castles on 140. And I was kind of cocky that, oh, they're not going to be strong enough to really want to kick me out if I have a lot of troops in there. There were a couple people that were supporting me in there, so we are like, all right, let's do it. We got this. So as you can see just by looking at this, these are not my usual commanders. None of them are very strong. I've got a couple gray ones in there. It's because those were literally the sixth set of commanders I had sent out. And they did not hold up well against this solo. So this was a solo with about 1.1 million troops, and we were defending with about 1.7, and as you can see, we did not fare very well. We lost this pretty hard, and it's just, I'm not going to get into the stats, but I mean, these are good commanders, these aren't. My stats were pretty, not quite as strong, but decently strong, but with no lord and wrong commanders, not going to go well. So we noticed that we're starting to get soloed out of castles, and that was kind of okay, we need to do something about this. It really was when it happened a couple times. You can see from the times on here that they were about 2 hours or so apart. So it was one of those things where I was kind of like, we'll get more points. Like, they aren't attacking again. Maybe we can hold it out. Then we got attacked the second time. We're like, all right, maybe we need to ditch this plan. So while I had some troops walking back, I got attacked, unfortunately, just not paying very close attention, and as you can see, again, I don't have very real commanders. I just got kind of wiped. Not a proud moment, not good. He actually didn't really send a full regiment. As you can see, it's only 700,000 troops, which for this guy was not full, but he actually was very, very strong, and unfortunately for me, I had mostly T3 troops, didn't have a lot of T4s, so I lost this pretty hard. Then he kind of just kept hitting me while I didn't have a lot of troops left. Fair. Then I think this time he sent a more real rally, or more real attack, since he saw that I actually had some troops in there. And just my bad for not really paying attention. I was trying to vacate other castles. A couple other people hit me once I was zeroed. So here, what was interesting, so this is them hitting the Erie. Was the last one for me to disband. I hadn't yet, and again, same thing. We lost so many troops from this. Really, really bad on my part to not disband them quicker. And as you can see, it's because these were almost all T4s, but again, don't have good stats, and that counts for a lot. Unfortunately for me, that was almost exclusively my cavalry, and they really just got eviscerated by those spearmen. So we lost a lot of troops there. Then, as my troops were walking back, this was really sad. So I was speeding in troops, trying to get them in as quickly as possible. Here, I actually get my lord back. My lord at the time was Seg. This is my true defense that I was hoping to have. And as you can see, I have a ton of cavalry back. I just spammed all my cavalry back in. But, tragically for me, my other 1 million spearmen and T4 spearmen and T4 infantry were still walking back. So as a result, I was getting hit with essentially only T4 cavalry. I've got some other troops too, but that's the bulk of my 2 million troops. 1 million of them were cavalry. And hitting a all spear is just never going to go super well. So that was not good for me. I got 1.5 million dead, and I think I can show this. About 977,000 T4 cavalry dead. That was a real heartbreaker. That hurt to see. Definitely was not a good result for me. After that, I got hit by another guy, and this was where I had, about half of the T4 infantry and spearmen back, but now I have no cavalry. So the bright side of this is that because I didn't have a lot of cavalry left, he's basically hitting a spearman inf lineup, which counters this pretty well. He still had a good deal more spearmen than me, and I was actually surprised I didn't win this one. I was fairly low on troops, but as you can see, it was pretty close. I lose out a lot more on the troops just because mine all were dying and his were just getting wounded. But as you can see, it was actually a pretty close hit. And if I have honestly, the big problem is that I'm assuming I'm going to have my cavalry. My cavalry stats are my strongest, and so having so few cavalry, those stats are almost all to waste, and both these commanders are pretty much useless. So I think that's a large part of why I didn't deal with that hit quite as well. But again, that one was pretty close. But this put me out about 130 or 120 million power, which definitely was not what I wanted going right into AC season. But healed a couple back up. I'm doing about, let's see what I've got. I think 600k, 640k cavalry that I'm researching or that I'm training up right now to get them back. And yeah, this is hopefully a lesson that everyone else can learn. Be a little careful in KVKs about holding castles and then spam your troops back really quickly. I will admit that we did get them back. You'll notice some of those names coming up again. Here, I'll quickly show some other fun reports. But as you can see, Diver went and got Savage back for me. He lost about 2.7 million just in this one solo, which I hope that kind of puts into perspective what I mean about this. That was probably one of their, if not their strongest accounts. That whole alliance, or that whole, kingdom, it was just a part of SRH. Just to be clear, it was not the whole SRH, but a good bit of them. And Diver's just, that's pretty disgusting, honestly. Felt a little bad for him, but I'm not going to get into their stats, but yeah, Diver's just Diver. So that felt good for me to see, like, oh yeah, I think he's doing worse on this exchange than I did. Then we also had a couple from Aropka and Diver on Peter Referee, who actually, the TTA Alliance, it was really fun to get to see them because they were actually a old friends of ours, essentially, that used to be in 140 that ended up leaving to go to 64. So it was good to get to see them and a lot of fun to play with them. And he took out some of my troops, but as you can see, he also lost out on a good deal of his own. Looks like I don't really know what he was doing here hitting with this. This looks like almost like a fake hit, but I think he may have been trying to get rid of troops. And then this one, that's Diver for you again. Just pretty much destroying, taking out 2.2 million troops again. That's just disgusting. So that's no fun for him. He only had about 2 million troops in at that point, so it may have been a similar situation where he's either possibly trying to zero out, but also potentially there may have been a chance that he had just been hit down a few times, which I think he also has this hit where he had 5 million troops and similarly lost a lot in return. So it's nice to have Diver on our side. He definitely packs a punch. And then there's just another person in SRH just also losing about 1.6 million to Diver. Look, like I do not envy them having to face him. He's just a absolute, just mega super whale. So I do not envy anyone who having to face him, but it's definitely nice to have him backing us up. Again, it was a really fun KVK, definitely our closest that we've had in a little while. So I'm probably not going to end up doing a video on it just because I didn't really get around to recording anything very interesting. I'm hoping that other people may have, but I just, I'd rather talk about it, discuss a little bit about them, and again, my biggest takeaway is just be very careful if you're going to be zero castling or putting troops into other castles, that you're able to get them back all together. That's, I think, the biggest thing that I was missing and that I kind of messed up on. But at the end of the day, I actually wasn't that disappointed about losing the troops. I obviously would rather have not lost them, but I was feeling a little bloated anyway. It was good to trim down a little bit, get some badges. I just wish I'd taken down some more of their troops with me, but can't win them all. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about the lessons that I learned on this last KVK. But until next time, this is TyrionLanstr. See you around.